Welcome to A Problem of Hype. A few days ago, I was having a conversation with a good friend of mine. It was mainly in regards to release trailers for films that are coming out. This might seem a little bit odd because I'm trying to focus this as a gaming channel, but right now you can draw a lot of parallels between the film industry and the gaming industry in regards to promotion of their products. It is for this reason that I now need to speak about movies for a little bit before returning to the topic of games. The conversation started in regards to the trailer that's currently running in the background, which is of the new Ghostbusters film. This trailer only got released a couple of days ago, and now with how the internet works, we are seeing people releasing articles about what they think on the trailer, how they react to the trailer, and in quite a few instances people are forming entire opinions of the film that hasn't even been released based on the footage that you're seeing behind me. It's no surprise that with our current information age that people will make videos or articles in regards to what's happening in the media. I'm not saying that this is a bad thing. People have a right to express their own views and opinions, just like how I am here. But what it does generally tend to lead to is, as I said previously, people building and forming opinions of things before they're even released. In this modern age, we consider this all part of the hype process. Trailers, interviews, and articles get closely examined to be able to try and glean any type of information about the product before it's even released. And I feel that this entire hype system is both serving as a positive and a negative. And I feel that people are getting more and more invested in the hype to release than the product itself. When looking at the idea of hype at the moment, a good example is Batman vs Superman. Over the last year or so, various teasers and trailers have been released, with a few of them making headlines in regards to the content of the trailer. It feels like that there's a disconnect between the creative process of making the film and the team that decide to advertise it, often spoiling the content of the product or not capturing what the director envisaged. All the major film publishers have a YouTube channel, and it feels like that one of the reasons that they're doing this is with YouTube you can do monetization on your videos. So just by publishing a trailer to a film that they have coming out, they can already generate income. In the instance of the video that's playing in the background here, it's generated over 62 million views. On my channel, I do not have monetization enabled. However, due to the fact that I am using their trailer footage in this video, there is a chance that I may get a copyright strike due to using their footage of the trailers in this video. And when that happens, they will be able to generate revenue off of people that watch this video. Amongst YouTubers, there is currently a big discussion in regards to the fair use policy, but I will save comment on that for a later time. Going back to the subject of Batman vs Superman, it has been a roller coaster ride in regards to expectations for the film based off of the trailers that we are seeing. Another example of where the promotion in regards to a film has been taken out of the hands of the creative team that made it would be Terminator Genisys. This film's main twist was entirely spoiled within the context of the pre-release trailer. Something that the director has come out on record to say that he was not happy with. And the last example I want to give in regards to promotion material in regards to films is The Babadook. This film's trailer was completely misaimed in regards to the target audience that it wanted to get, creating the impression that this film is all about jump scares and your standard horror tropes, when in fact it is an interesting psychological horror film. When looking at Hollywood promotional material, It seems like that there is a huge focus on getting bums on seats on that opening night, regardless of the actual audience who want to see the film. So what's all this got to do with gaming? Actually, more than what you would expect. We are currently seeing a growing trend. Game publishers are following the example set in the films industry. But the key difference in regards to film and game industries is the actual development time. Promotional material for film media normally starts within a year and a half to 2 years of when the product is due for release. It is more common in the game industry to be able to see promotional material for a product between 4 and 5 years before the actual release. When you're looking at that sort of development time, hype needs to be considered. There is a risk of either overhyping or toying with player expectations too much. To this end, I would like to look at the last 4 games that I pre-ordered. Dragon Age Inquisition, developed by BioWare, published by Electronic Arts, released in November 2014. Follow-up to the critically acclaimed Dragon Age Origins in 2009, and the not-so-well-received Dragon Age 2 in 2011, the pre-release footage for Dragon Age Inquisition looked good. It was the first time BioWare moved away from their own in-house game engine over to Electronic Arts' standard of the Frostbite game engine. For release, there was a standard and a digital deluxe versions available. Player expectations for this game was actually quite high, mainly because of Dragon Age Origins. Everyone was hoping to see the game return to form in this third entry in the series. Upon release, the game had many bugs on all platforms, and more problems were experienced on the PC version. Due to popularity of this game being released, as to be expected, the servers were constantly having problems with all the logins. If you was experiencing problems with the PC version, it was actually a lot easier and straightforward to find resolution to these problems in forums instead of contacting the publisher. One of the specific issues that I experienced is that I normally have my Origin client installed into my second partition on my PC. However, with the game client in that location, apparently it would stop me from actually accessing the online services, and the achievement system did not work. The game has done commercially quite well, but due to moving over to the new Frostbite engine, the tactical side of the game that people liked from Origins was completely absent from the game. Even though this is a good game, when you put it in comparison to the original title, it doesn't quite live up to expectations. Batman Arkham Knight, developed by Rocksteady Studios, published by Warner Bros. Interactive Entertainment, released on June of 2015. It's a direct follow-up to Batman Arkham Asylum and Batman Arkham City. These games proved that successful that Warner Bros. Interactive Entertainment also commissioned a third party to develop another Batman game called Batman Arkham Origins. Release on Xbox One and PlayStation 4 went well. The PC version, however, had problems to say the least. The PC port of this game was very poorly executed. It was later discovered that Warner Bros. Interactive Entertainment outsourced the porting of the PC version to a third party. The PC version of this game had such bad reviews and response that the game was removed from the Steam store. Refunds was offered to customers, and Warner Bros. Interactive Entertainment went back to try and fix the game so they could re-release the game at a later date. This game has since been re-released. It is currently in a better state than what it was originally released in. However, Warner Bros. Interactive Entertainment has gone on record for saying that the game will never be fixed properly. This game was the first real test of the Steam refund policy that got introduced a couple of months earlier. I played this game on PC. I suffered performance problems in regards to the game, but I did, however, complete the game. As gamers, we can only hope that other developers look at this situation that happened with Batman Arkham Knight and focus more resources into giving a proper port for the PC. Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain, released in September 2015, developed by Kojima Productions, published by Konami. This is a very good example of where hype can actually go wrong in release of a game. Teasers and trailers was released for this game up to 4 years before its release. Whereas normally the publisher takes the role of developing all materials in regards to marketing, the director of the game was in charge. This game could be a victim of the series' own success, setting such high standards in the fans and followers of this game series that there was no realistic way that this game could actually live up to the expectations of the players. The promotion of this title was incredibly good, and it left a lot to the imagination, which is kind of one of the problems. For me personally, this was a point in time that actually changed my viewpoint on gaming, and to be more critical about pre-release information when it comes to releases. I don't think I will ever see a hype build-up to a game like this for myself again, just because of the disappointment that can follow. Fallout 4 by Bethesda Game Studios, published by Bethesda Softworks, released in November 2015. This is an odd entry, mainly because most of the games that I've listed so far have had pre-release information and/or videos up to a couple of years before release. With this game, we only got promotional material about it 6 months before the game's release, and at that time they also announced the release date. Again, this is a little bit weird. This is one of the only developers where it's actually allowed or acceptable that the game releases with bugs. It's pretty much expected when a game comes out from this developer that the game's not going to run right. There is going to be graphical problems. There is going to be glitches that happen. But with this developer, it's okay. Even though there wasn't a long period of time for people to get excited about this game, because of the history of the franchise, people again did get excited. This game is graphically superior to previous entries in this series. However, the story doesn't feel as fleshed out, and the more simplistic dialogue system that they chose to implement reduces the role-play ability of characters in the world. It's also weird that this game, when I play it, does feel unfinished. And it's one of those games where it feels like they just did enough to complete the game, but leave enough room for modders to be able to finish the game for them. In a sense, they are half completing a piece of work and handing it over to the community to be able to finish it. This game is quite well received, but it doesn't feel as good as previous titles in the series. So what is the hype problem? With the internet providing so much information 24/7, we now consume information. It's really easy to get absorbed into what we like and what we have interests in. We like to think that everything is just one click away, but in reality, we need to wait. And that is where the hype comes in, the wanting and the waiting. With the film industry, it's very much about bums in seats upon release and box office numbers. But now with the gaming industry, it's about pre-ordering. To encourage this, you see pre-order bonuses, deluxe editions, collector's editions, to try and guarantee sales upon release, creating a situation where the publisher gets so locked in on the release date and that quality becomes a second priority. Is it all doom and gloom? Well, no. There are things that we, the consumer, can do, and there are things that the publisher can do. Right now, most of the publishers control the publicity and advertising of what they're producing. Ideally, you want the creative team behind the game to be involved in the pre-release material. There needs to be more transparency between what something is and what we're going to be getting. If a game needs a couple of more weeks or months to be finished off so it can be released bug-free, then take that time. I find it encouraging with the recent news that Naughty Dog have actually postponed the release of Uncharted 4, hopefully to polish and perhaps sort out any bugs that it may have upon release if it had stayed to the original release date. As consumers, we need to try and keep our expectations and hope for what's going to be in check. It's not an easy thing to do. I have fallen prey to this problem many times myself. One of the things that I've decided to do is not to pre-order games anymore. I am happy to wait for reviews of the game to come out by people that I trust and I regard their opinions in high regard. The most difficult games to be able to keep yourself in check with are going to be long-standing franchises. And right now, there are a group of developers that are getting it right. This is mainly the indie scene. They have to work with more constrained budgets than the normal developers, not being able to invest as much in advertising. So these small groups work more with word of mouth than big budget trailers. The large publishing companies need to take a step back and start letting their product speak for itself again, instead of investing money in the perpetual hype machine, because most times things don't live up to the hype. Thank you for your time and have a good one.